That music just makes me so happy. The little ding 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 and all of that fun stuff. It's so good. Yeah, so we were just talking about Zach just making fools of everybody in the mirror leagues, the SFB mirror leagues, before
I
we
mean,
came in.
I'm pretty lucky right now, but that's how it goes. I didn't even realize, so I didn't know whether or not I should sign up for the mirror leagues, like what. And then Scott had tweeted out like it doesn't matter if you're in, just sign up. And I was like, all right, there's an MFL mirror league, I'll do that.
Yeah, why
So
not?
I'm yeah, I'm currently I've scored 955 points, but it's a best ball, which is so much to my advantage because I'm very good at drafting. I am terrible at setting lineups. Like right
Don't
now.
take my thing away from me, Zach. That's my thing.
Oh, well, you and I, it's kismet. We are kindred spirits because like right now, if just the last 2 weeks, if I had not fiddled around with my lineups, I would be sitting in 6th place in the main event Scott Fish Bowl.
Oh, yeah. To show that I am bad at drafting, I did draft Russell Wilson as my QB2. And to show that I am bad at paying attention to the world, Jalen Hurts has a bye this week.
Oh, no.
I don't have a starting quarterback to put in right now. So, a little bit of trouble there.
Jump in those waivers quick and see if there's anybody left after the run. You first come, first serve right now.
Oh, that's right. It's Wednesday. I didn't even think. I mean, there's no starting quarterbacks on the wire, of course. But
I mean, you never know. Snoop Huntley could be available.
I got Joe Flacco for $2 just in case.
Oh, Joe Flacco probably will start.
They did say because they said that Richardson is probably going to play.
Oh, well, he could play.
Oh wait, Tyler Huntley.
There you go.
Who should I drop?
Probably a tight end the way they're scoring.
I think I could drop Malachi Corley pretty safely, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably you're okay there.
I have 2 starting quarterbacks.
We've done it. This is that's pretty much all we needed to accomplish with this stream. So everything else is gravy. We've given Russ fantasy advice. Russ is now set for his Scott Fish Bowl lineup. And now we just kind of hang out with the chat for the next.
Actually, no, because I have to take out Jalen Hurts and put in Huntley. That's who I can. There you go. Okay, good. And both of my running backs are questionable. That's good. That's good news. That's good news. Ooh, question. New mailman Chris, should I drop Blake Corum to pick up Bo Nix to block my opponent who doesn't have a QB for his super flex spot? Yes, Bo Nix should not be on. I mean, even if this is redraft, I feel like quarterbacks shouldn't be on the wire in a super flex league.
Yeah, and it, I mean, obviously depends on a bunch of factors. Like if it's like QB premium or nerf QB scoring, like
roster size is 10 teams. Fair enough. Yeah.
Like I could see leaving Nix on the wire as a hand grenade.
Let someone else deal with that.
Yeah, but that's not a bad move. And then I mean, I don't think anybody, or you got to hope that nobody picks up Corum in the meantime, because I know Corum's not doing anything right now. But in the event, the unlikely event that say Kyron Williams takes a vacation to Nassau in the Bahamas for the next, 8 weeks or so, Corum would start. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm going to I like this conversation in the first place because a lot of people are like, is that bad sportsmanship to do that? I'm like, no, that's sportsmanship. Yeah. that is sportsmanship. Picking up, it's at this point, it's funny. It's old at this point, but the argument in the show, The League, was doing picking up and dropping players so they're lock, because in a lot of redraft players are locked for a few days after you drop them. So you people with defenses would pick them up and drop them, so other people couldn't pick. No, you're putting someone on your roster. That's not dirty at all whatsoever. But I agree with Zach where I think it's more worthwhile to hold on to Corum in case Kyron gets hurt, because at least finally we could say, look, Corum is not an issue for Kyron Williams.
Right.
Which I bet a lot on that. I feel like I got lucky because I had nothing backing my faith in it. But if Kyron does get hurt, not to say Corum's going to walk in and get the amount of work that Kyron did, but it's not unprecedented in Sean McVay's offense for them to just be like, all right, well, you're the healthy guy, go.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what they want to do is give the ball to one running back and let them. So if Corum is what I think he is, he'll be able to do that. I mean, I don't know if he'll be to the same level as Kyron Williams, but I mean, he'd give you a reasonable facsimile.
Yeah. Yeah, PM show every Wednesday. We're going to be here at 9:30. For how long? It depends how long we can both stay awake. And that's not to say we're going to be here till midnight. That means if I can make it past 10:30, we'll keep going for a little bit. But yeah, we're here just to have a little bit of fun, just to hang out with everyone. Who knows? We'll see what happens. If we talk fantasy football, cool. If not, that's cool also. And it's funny, Zach was joking that he's in first place in the mirror leagues and that he might get lucky enough to win his way into SFB 15. And I said, good, because that's the only way you're getting in next year. But I also joked, I did win my way into SFB like 3 years ago, like before I was with Fantasy Cares, but still like helping out Scott and doing stuff. The Women of Fantasy Football every year does their their raffles. And every day that they do it, it's 2 jerseys. So I always do, it's $5 each. So I always donate 10 every day to put one raffle ticket in each jersey. And I did not win. I think it was a George Kittle jersey and someone else that I didn't want. So I actually just ended up putting 2 in the Kittle. And I did not win the jersey, but I did win my SFB ticket. And I DM them. I'm like, look, I'm never that guy, but I'm gonna get into SFB. You can give the ticket to someone else, and they just never answered. So I won. Technically,
so you won your way in.
SFB.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm on a hot streak right now. I won the signed LaDainian Tomlinson jersey from JDRF from Bob's from Emmy's type 1 diabetes drive, and then I won a shirt from Casey Kasem.
Yes.
From Sunday Dreamers Club.
Which shirt did you get?
I got the Ask Me About My Fantasy Football podcast. They were like, so I had that one in my cart already, which was funny because like I got the message from her that I'd won, and I was like, this is perfect because this one is already in my cart. So
yeah, that's the first one I saw that made me laugh, and I'm like, when I first went to Sunday Dreamers Club, by the way, is Casey's shop. For some fun fantasy football t-shirts. Ask me about my fantasy football podcast, and there's a giant picture of a microphone. And I'm just like, yeah, Trisha's gonna hate me when I wear that, but I'm gonna wear it anyway. I got that in my fantasy football era. That like bright pink shirt with the Taylor Swift thing. Yeah.
Here we are again, because those are the 2 that I've got so far. But they're like 15 that I'm like, man, I really can't justify spending all this money on clothes when I've already bought 40 Scott Fishbowl t-shirts. But
you won that one. You didn't spend any money on it.
That's true.
I am unfortunately at the point that when I am caught up on laundry like I am at the moment, I don't have enough drawer space for all my t-shirts.
Yes.
I have 2 full dresser drawers full of t-shirts. Like,
yep. I'm not kidding. Like I have it's like 47 Scott Fishbowl t-shirts.
Well, now you make me want to count.
So I did this because I had to clean out my closet at the beginning of the fall, and so I started like, man, I may have a problem. This, or maybe not. I don't know. I wear one every day, and the guys at work all like they guess. I think there's like a pool guessing what I'm wearing and if they can figure it out. So I can't wait to debut. Bob just said nice shirt. I can't wait. This is my new one that I just got. This is now on what is it?
Shop
Fantasy Cares. Yeah. So this is now on there, which I think this one is very sharp. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's supposed to be either. I would lose that pool. I don't know. It looks cool. So, that hook is in a very I feel like that's supposed to be something. I don't know. I don't get
just fishing. Don't worry about it.
Fishing. That's it. Here, Anne has a question. Thoughts on starting returners over position peeps? Hasn't worked out for me so much through the first 4 weeks. Is it just you? Not over positional people, but last week I did start the Tennessee returner who ended up getting 0, which I lost by 2 points. I took out Calvin Ridley to put in that guy, and Calvin Ridley scored 3 points. I'm just like, really? So, and I think it was honestly even Zach that may have brought this one up, but like, it's a big advantage to find out which teams kick to allow returns, and that being your deciding factor. Because, yeah, it was rough for me when I was just like, to me, I thought it was safer. I thought it was safer to put a kick returner in, and he ended up giving me the big old donut.
Well, and I think the real kind of crux of this, and yes, you should figure out what teams kick, but also if you have a player who does like some of each, so
yeah, Chase Brown's going to be a
like Chase Brown. I've got Chase Brown. I've got Rashid Shaheed. They've been doing both. Xavier Gibson has been. Is it Gibson? Gibson. I know it's with a P, but I've heard that name pronounced both ways. But anyway, like he's been 15 points a week, like set it and forget it, and so that type of player. And I don't think you want, because we've had this in the 107 chat, and not to talk out of church, but like we talked about returners, and I keep going back to the fact that it's kick returners that you want. It's not necessarily punt returners because of the yardage bonuses.
Yeah.
And if a guy is going to return kicks right now in the NFL, that is basically 25 plus yards a return.
Yeah.
And if he has 4 returns, that's a 20-point week. So
that is what it's been for when I have to pull every week the top special teamer. And or like with Chase Brown and Shaheed and whatever the top returners have been for the past few weeks, it usually is 4 or 5 returns for 105 yards.
Yep. And you can go look through box scores and see what teams are giving up kick return yardage, and like it's been reasonably consistent, because I think that the teams have a strategy. Basically, I mean, the NFL right now is averaging the start on the 30-yard line. So kick returns, the average is start on the 30. Well, if you kick it in the end zone, you start on the 30. So right now it's a wash, but there's a lot more positive things that can come out of for the kicking team, I think, because you have a chance for the returner to fumble, you have a chance for your special teams to make a stop. I think eventually teams are going to start kicking more and being kind of tactical where they kick into the end zone, but I'm not sure if that happens this year. So it may not
people
help.
Want the sample size to study.
Absolutely. And so it's kind of an interesting, because we talked about this, and I know we talked about it last week a little bit too, but you and I and the group in the dummies chat specifically talked about kick returners preseason and maybe even pre-draft, where it was like, this is going to be a
pre-draft.
Because I was like, this is going to be a big, if you can figure out who the returners are, this is going to be a large source of points.
But. And week 1 maybe disillusioned us a little bit with Blackshear being the top scorer and all of that stuff, and it came back down to earth. But there are a couple of returners that seem steady no matter what. Like DJ Dallas seems like he's always going to be a thing. Oh, this is painful. Lost by 0.2 and then 2.3 points the last 2 weeks. I want to cry with you. That sounds awful. Starting by thinking running backs and wide receivers and super flex over QBs. That is, yes,
welcome.
You probably should.
Yeah, welcome.
Pulling up the top 32 scorers I mean, we have Lamar Jackson is the 4th highest scorer. Jaden Daniels is 8. Sam Darnold is 12. It seems like every four people. But there's maybe 10 QBs at best in this top 32. It's and besides like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, they're all runners. You know, so there's a lot of that is coming into play. Justin Fields up there at number 28, who announced as the starter, but we'll talk about that a little later because we're talking about this. My SFB team,
SFB team.
This, like this really does seem like unless you have the right quarterback for your QB2, you don't start a QB as your QB2.
Right. And that's kind of what, like, I didn't think I was going to start a second quarterback when I drafted. I drafted Jaden Daniels, and then I didn't draft a quarterback for a very long time.
So
and then Fields was there, and I was like, well, I'll take him. And then Daniel Jones was still there, and I was like, well, he runs enough that if he isn't terrible, I may get a bye week or something out of him. And he hasn't been good. He's scored less than Xavier Gipson, but he's been fine.
Daniel Jones, QB 23, 14 points per game.
Yeah. So but he had a 30-point week a couple weeks ago. So it's not like it's there. It's just not necessarily consistent. And I don't need to start him right now because I've got 2 starters. But
yeah. Here's another guy. Ray McLeod is another guy who, because he'll get 2 catches a game, but then he'll also get all of those return yards.
Yeah, and that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody who is going to return kicks and then will give you something in, as an offensive, as a positional player.
Yeah, Josh Scobie. I just dropped Foreman for Auten. Been tough going value, drafting TE value in SFB anywhere, not just in SFB. Been rolling Mandrews, Engram, and Hurst on a bye. Engram's progressing. I keep reading every single, like I look at his MFL blurb every single day because it's killing me because I have so many Engram. Like,
go look for Eric All on the waivers.
No, because I still want Mike Gesicki to be a thing. His 1 catch for 2 yards this past week when
he's very athletic.
Crushed them. He's very athletic. He's crushing my dreams. Yeah, tight end is just a hellscape at this point. Hold on, let's pull this up in SFB scoring because it's actually the same pretty much where Dallas Goedert and Brock Bowers are the top 2, and then it's Cole Kmet, George Kittle. Muth is actually tight end 5. When Muth is a top 5 tight end, you have issues. Likely hasn't scored more than like 8 points since week 1, and he's still tight end 6. Like it is so gross. Mike Gesicki, tight end 10, baby. Even though he had 0.6 points this past week.
It's been bad enough that I had a DM from somebody saying you should do Bob O'Reilly, the Teenage Wasteland, as tight end Wasteland, and I'm like, you are 8 years behind on that one because I did that back when Gronk and Jimmy Graham and that whole was a thing. So
in the 12 Olympians, another league we're in together, I have, hold on, let me pull up. My tight ends are TJ Hawkinson, Trey McBride, and David Njoku, which means right now my tight ends are Gerald Everett and Kylan Granson. Because I don't have a tight end I could start.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everyone sees that and starts sending me these offers of like 8 times the value so I can get some crap tight end to start. And I'm like, I'll just take zeros.
I mean, I have real tight ends. We could talk. We'll talk off air.
But you also have Derrick Henry, in which case I'd be more interested in that as well.
See?
I want to talk about Xavier Legette having a game.
Yeah.
In Trade Addict 7, I'm trying to get a tight end. I'm trying to get Jake Ferguson off of Casey, which I'm screwed in the first place because I'm trying to get a Cowboy off of a Cowboys fan. And she throws at me today, Legette and 2 seconds for Jake Ferguson. I'm like, Casey, I love you. I'm not getting anywhere starting Foster Moreau as my tight end, but I can't do that. especially after coming off a 20-point game.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton isn't the long-term answer, clearly, but the truth is somewhere in between
He
Young and Dalton somewhere.
Andy Dalton is like the cure-all for your fantasy woes.
Yeah.
Like he may not be the answer for an NFL team, but man, can he fix some fantasy rosters? Kind of like Flacco, very similar.
Comes in and all of a sudden Michael Pittman's good again.
Yep.
Oh wait, hold on. John Byrne just solved everything. Coach tight ends to return kicks.
Yep.
That's.
I could. There's some that I could say. Like I could see Jonnu Smith doing that. You could see Gesicki doing that. You could see Pitts returning kicks like this. I'm in.
Yes, let Pitts return kicks so when he gets 0 catches on the week, it doesn't completely just destroy you. Speaking of tight ends, Bob's asking, what are you buying and selling Travis Kelce for?
That's a good question.
I don't think you have to pay more than even in a trade addicts league where it's 0.75 premium. I don't think you're not paying more than a second for him right now. I think people would be thrilled to get a second for him.
But
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just, as somebody who rosters Kelce in multiple leagues that you run, and a couple of them I'm not winning right now, so I would be interested in trading. I would probably hold at this point just for a game or two without without that with the new Chiefs offense, because Rashee Rice being out, I think changes the dynamic, changes the target share. I think
he had 10 targets that game.
Yeah, those get reallocated. And so if you see a couple of those games where Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce again,
yeah,
maybe you can get more than a second. But yeah, I mean, like right now it's, and even if you have to put a second with Kelce to get a first, it's still, I'd still rather do that than
because it could be the 112 and the 201. It doesn't matter because there's a 1 and there's a 2, and that absolutely changes the value. But if I'm with Zach in saying that I have Kelce on a lot of teams in general, but on some teams that I thought would be competing that are not competing.
Partially because of him.
And at that point, I would absolutely sell him for a second if someone came to me for him. But I'm not selling him for nothing. Even he'll probably retire after this year at this point. That's fine. But even for a year of Kelce, there's no reason to sell a third, especially with Rashee Rice gone. Assuming Rashee Rice is gone, let me say, because I still can't. No one has been able to come with an example of someone who had to wait a week to get scanned again because that's how much swelling there was in their knee.
That's wild.
That's wild. And I've made the same joke 18 times, but I also haven't edited Trade Addicts yet, so not everyone has heard it. Part of me hopes he has airbags in his knee, so they got hit and they just went and they just protected everything. So it's just a bad bone bruise because everything is swole up to protect his ligaments.
Yeah. And I don't know if you I have not seen the clip, but there was reports of Mahomes being cautiously optimistic about Rice today. But again, you don't know. I mean, that's not me saying go expect Rashee Rice to be back. But
I would be praying to be cautiously optimistic if I took out my number 1 pass catcher also.
Yeah.
It's a wasteland. Just got to keep trying. The Mandrews one hurts. Felt safe during the. He absolutely did. I really have to believe he's still hurt. I get that he's gotten game scripted out a little bit. They realize that running is what they need to do right now, and he's blocked more in the past 3 games than he has all of last season. But I really just have to hope that something happens because he's good. He's not bad all of a sudden.
Right. Well, I mean, he did drop the one pass he's seen this millennium he dropped last week, and I was like, oh, we could have used that one, but
it's funny. Someone blew 100% fab on Joe Flacco. First of all, Joe Flacco's going to win leagues again. I'm telling you. Maybe not right now because there's reports that Anthony Richardson is going to play this week. Did you watch this game? he got hurt. They took him. He had to go out for a play, and then he goes back out, and then gets hurt in that play.
Yeah, they immediately call a run pass option where he
Yeah,
he's yeah.
What were they thinking? Like
Yeah.
like is Mike Shanahan coaching right now? Like is this RG3? Is that what's happening? Like they want Joe Flacco in? Like is this?
It's wild.
No needles near the lungs to go back to 2020.
Yeah, the the Chargers,
Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. Yeah,
wild.
By the way, I got Joe Flacco for $2. So,
but that's like
league. It doesn't matter. I know.
It's been really interesting with Fab, especially if you're talking Joe. If you're talking Scott Fishbowl, that is even more interesting. But just in general, I think. But to me, free agent budget, I spend mine early. Like
and I usually do it in one. Like I'm happy when there's a person I can spend 100% on, because usually with I was about to say in Dynasty, but also just the deep rosters that we play with in SFB, there's usually not much happening.
Yeah. But like we had $78 bid out of 100 on Tucker Craft this week. So like it's and in my infinite wisdom, I had picked up Kareem Hunt before he signed 2 weeks ago. So like it was during the games, but he was still a free agent. So I added him to my roster, and then I cut him before last week when he came in and actually played. So he went for a bunch, but like I don't the 100% fab on Flacco. Like, what else are you gonna get at this point? Like, what's gonna be as beneficial as Flacco? And that to me, I think, is where the being in early, especially, I mean, not necessarily on Flacco, but like especially on younger players who, I mean, it was the Nakua, that sort of thing, where if you're in early, there's a lot more benefit to it. So I spend my fab early. I am just that way.
So I just pulled up SFB again, and I did the top available free agents, and Eric All was on there, and I pulled him up. Besides week 1 where he got 0 targets, every game 4 targets.
Yeah.
Every game 4 catches. He has 100% catch rate right now.
He's pretty good.
12 for 12.
And it's one of those things where, like, if something happened in that pass catching, hierarchy, he could end up seeing. I mean, if all of a sudden he's seeing 7 targets, that's a really valuable tight end,
especially when he's catching all 7 of them.
Yeah. So,
hey man, I know the rumor was if they lost last week would be on the block, but 1-3, like I feel like there isn't much hope. Maybe in a week or two he goes on the move.
Yep. And yeah, if that happened, man, that like being prescient, being ahead of adding all to your team, you're feeling good about that.
Yeah. Kelsey over Andrews in Dynasty despite age and retirement possibility. No, not yet. I'm not ready for that, but like, am I? Well, yes. You want to know why the answer is yes? Because no, the answer is still no. Okay, stop making me think. I'm not ready. I'm not built for that. Andrews is cost a lot. Everyone, like, I forgot who, Frank in the chat. He always hangs out in these chats and the chat on the Trade Addicts leagues. He pointed out to me that Andrews is worth a whole lot of money next season. So there's a chance he's gone after this season anyway, and he'll be worth something to another. And again, that's assuming he's healthy and playing for real. Right. But and like he's not gimped forever now. Like maybe he's just not going to get as healthy as he ever was again. I have no idea. But like, if Rashee Rice is out this season, I don't care about longevity. Give me Travis Kelce for 1 year when he's going to get 12 targets a game, assuming the craziness doesn't happen. And I know we'll talk about Devontae Adams a little bit, I'm sure. But like, assuming Devontae Adams doesn't end up in KC, which I doubt he does, but like Kelsey's going to get a lot of targets, and so give me that. Give me that year, because at this point we need to treat Kelsey like a running back, right? Yeah. Like you'd spend first to get a good running back. You'd spend a first, I guess, to go get Travis Kelsey for the rest of the year, like in a tight end premium league at least. Rashee Rice is looking for a different answer, I'm afraid. So getting more and more, that's scary. Yeah. That's like the Tua thing. The fact that Tua is like, I think I've read that he went to at least 3 different people. That means he's looking for someone to give him the go ahead to keep playing, which means there's multiple people that told him not to.
Yeah.
I want him to play as a player because I was always a big fan, but as a human, it's like, oh man, like lose a leg, you lose a leg. You can't really lose your brain and keep on going. Like that's Likely over Kelsey and Andrews in Dynasty. I mean, it's not like Likely's been doing anything either. Like outside that first game, what has he actually done?
Yeah, he hasn't done very much. And that, like, to me, I like Likely's,
and he's still tight end 6 in SFB. Yeah. 36.6 points, 8.6, 1.9, 5.6.
Yeah, so he like hasn't done very much. He's had a catch or two, but he to me, he's that tease. Like I don't necessarily see him ascending into the what Andrews and Kelsey have been.
No.
And it's not to say that he can't, but
maybe on a different offense.
Just for me looking at him, like there are other players that I would rather attack than Likely, and I don't think that he's in the Kelsey Andrews conversation.
No, not yet.
Even though I'm a big Likely guy. Like I enjoy.
Yeah, you were a big fan of him coming in. I remember that's why I have a lot of shares of him, is because you were a big fan of him. 100% on Dalton.
Yeah, Bob did that 2 weeks ago. Dropped 100%.
Next year for SFB, start just 3 players, any position, still 22 player roster. Yes. Finally, we can have an SFB season where injuries don't just destroy me.
Can we make it best ball, Scott, so I don't have to make the decision?
And we don't have to pick the 3 players. Yes, I love it. Yes, let's go. Yes, but he did say any position. I mean, get Lindell on the phone, find out some good scoring for punters. I'm sure MFL has coffin corners or punts inside the 5 as we. Oh,
I'm sure you can get that in as a scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. Protects teams from up to 19 injury. Yep, there you go. LBs score a bunch. I heard. Yeah, any player. No. ID. Like no. I draw the line at even joking about there being IDP. No, thank you.
Oh man. Yeah, that's. I feel bad that that IDP doesn't, but I have so much trouble just keeping track of the 5 or 6 players on a team that we care about on offense.
It's funny because it feels like even like 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know if it was just I was younger and had less going on in my life that I was able to remember all of these wide receivers and everything. But now it even seems like there's low end wide receivers that I have no idea who they are, or like forget they exist, or now like. So, like, we're going to add defensive players to that. And I know who some of them are, but you need to know defensive players when it comes to IDP. And the thing that is even worse is you don't necessarily need to know who the good defensive players are for IDP. Like with quarterbacks, you need to know who the other guy is across from the good guy, because it's just tackles that really matter. And, it doesn't matter if they get scored on. It's just if they get thrown at a lot. Like, this is a good question, because it seems like now finally at year 3, it'll be interesting to see if the winner of SFB is on Sleeper or MFL, because for the longest time being the last 2 years, more people on Sleeper were making the playoffs, and it was because they're forced to start a kicker.
Right.
I start 3 kickers and they all score me 20 points every single week. Like maybe I just happen to pick the right 3 kickers. I have Justin Tucker, Kaimi Fairbairn, and Tyler Bass. Like they're good, but like they put up points. Like they were originally put in because of the people that got hurt for me, but now they're in, and if I have to sit a wide receiver, I'm sitting a wide receiver.
Yeah, well, and I have different kickers, and they are also scoring 20 points ish a
Yeah, so
week.
it's not
So
even
it's
that because I've never looked at other kicker scoring, so I don't know if it was just happens to be the 3 I picked or if there's others, and I could have just
like I've got Boswell, Groupie, and Siebert, and they've both been, or all three have been good, but they've been on decent offenses too.
yeah, actually, in points per game, Austin Seibert,
Yeah.
Brandon Aubrey's gonna be up there, Blake Grupe's gonna be up there, Jake Moody from San Francisco,
Yep.
and then Tyler Bass. I have no idea who Will Reichard, Minnesota's kicker.
Yep.
Evan McPherson, Chris Boswell, Kaimi Fairbairn, Justin Tucker. Chase McLaughlin is the kicker for Tampa Bay, apparently. Oh, Braden Narverson. Where's number
We're
like
just
44? I
we're just
can't
making
handle
guys
that.
up now.
I can't handle that. Like, really? Number 44 for a kicker? No, no, no. A Sniper Mel saying next year SFB picking rookies to start. I actually, Rookie Fever is a podcast and they do eliminators every year where it's rookies only. It is, I love it. I've done so poor. I've done it for the past 3 years. I've done so poorly for the past 3 years. I wonder who mine doesn't start until like week 8 this year. Let's see who I even picked. I don't even know anymore. Hold on.
I've not done well in eliminators.
Oh, but I do have Jaden Daniels. Oof. Jaden Daniels, Javon Baker, Devonta's Walker, Roman Wilson, Eric All, and Jatavian Sanders. At least I have Jaden Daniels.
Yep. He's carrying you.
Man, he can go on by and I might get straight zeros through the rest of that.
I've already been eliminated in 3, I think, eliminators that I'm in.
I think I forgot to check this week. As of this recent week, nope, still John got kicked out of the Dynasty Wall Street one this week. Still alive. Sam Stompy Lanes, still alive. Trade Addicts. Whoops. Uh-oh. I got kicked out of Trade Addicts. Oopsie daisy. And Jake Anderson, still alive.
I was out of Cooter Doodles in the very first week, and then she followed very quick. I think it was me, then Mr. Scampers, then Cooter Doodle, just eliminated one after another. I was like, well, at least we're in good company.
I was just about to say, at least you're in good company. We like those people. Yes, everybody, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And I mean, I'm sure the people here are subscribed, but I guess I should say it anyway. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell so you get the notification every time we go live. Oh, also, it's October. Hold on, we have
new stickers.
Well, besides that, but first,
yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. I have to I hit too many buttons. Hold on. Let's get that. I hate that. There you go. fantasycares.org/NBCF for the National Breast Cancer Foundation. fantasycares.org/NBCF. We are matching up to $5,000 worth of donations for the entire month of October because October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Helping women now is their motto. Double your impact. Fantasy Cares will match dollar for dollar up to $5,000 dues. You can use that QR code that's up there, or you can fantasycares.org/NBCF. And then, oh man, I have to, where are the right buttons? I should be good at this by now. Okay, so here, so this month's stickers, I love all of these. First of all, speaking of NBC, there's Nightmare Before Christmas. Come on, Drafting from Halloween Town from SFB 12. There's the replacements. I love it. Like I did like a mixture of things because the end of October, you will get this. No, and then October, November, there's football, and then when you want to go back to November 5th, 1955, you use the Back to the Future shiny one. So you get your sticker just in time to celebrate Back to the Future Day. So yeah, those fantasycares.org/stickers. You can sign up. $5 can get you 1 random sticker. $7.50 can get you 2 random stickers. $10 get you all 3 stickers. You don't have to worry about what you're going to get. You don't have to be like, oh man, I really wanted that Back to the Future sticker. Just $10 and you guarantee. And the funny thing is, like when we used to sell stickers in the shop, they were like $5 each. like for one sticker. $10 you get 3, and they're all awesome.
And
international people, if there's a $20 option, pick that. You'll get your stickers every other month. You'll get them on the even months, so you won't get them November 1st. You'll get them December 1st. Well, I'll send them out December 1st. So Davante Adams asked for a trade, and then now he's magically out, and apparently the hamstring injury is real.
Is it real? Is it though?
I have read, I think it was Diana Rossini tweeted out that the Raiders are telling people that he will miss 1 to 2 weeks.
1 week for certain, and then
certain.
Yeah.
And what I love and find hilarious is we have this idea of these glory-stricken athletes who just will do anything to win the championship. And then you find out Davante Adams wants to go to the Saints or the Jets. He just wants to play with his friends.
I feel that.
I mean, love it.
There's something to be said for that. And honestly, the Jets could like make hay in that division.
Their defense not just needs to start playing like their defense.
That's true.
But like, I found that so funny. Like we're sitting here trying to think like, all right, well, the Cowboys would be awesome to get someone next to CeeDee Lamb.
Steelers.
The Steelers were going after Ayuk, so why not go after him? Same thing with the Manders. And then it comes out he's like, he wants to play for the Saints and the Jets. And it's just like, he wants to play catch with his friends. That's adorable. Oh, I love it. Asking, where do you think the winner? And then oh, that's cute. He thinks he's gonna win. I mean, I can't really talk much. I'm in 698th place at the moment, so I can't rush like I could 2 weeks ago.
Where's I'm in 80th right now.
I don't know.
Like I said, if I the last 2 weeks, if I had not been the most inept at setting starting lineups in the entire Scott Fish Bowl, I'd be in 6th. So it's been pretty bad.
Ooh, there's an Alex Hepworth. Oh, there's Alan Hepworth is 4-4 in 1656 in the Mario division.
Oh yeah, you got this. You got this all the way back. You should probably pick up Eric All though.
I just did. Yep, 698th, 5-3.
Nice.
Let's see if Zach is lying.
I'm an 80th.
You're an 80th. 8-0, baby.
8-0. I'm averaging 209 points a week right now. Ish.
209.34.
Yeah, that's ish.
I to see the Jets trade Hassan Reddick for Adams. I don't get it.
Just send him back. Let's do it.
Oh, is that where he came from? Isn't that the guy who was on the Eagles?
Yeah. And there's a weird thing with that though. I'm not sure.
Or they just got him.
Yeah. I was reading something about maybe they can't trade him back to the Eagles because somebody was questioning that, and they're like, he can't go back to the Eagles.
Yeah,
but
so I was talking about it on Trade Addicts again about Davante Adams maybe going to the Jets, and like at first we're like, oh, but Garrett Wilson, and then we're like, but Garrett Wilson, it's like, what's happened? Why has Garrett Wilson been so bad this season? Because he's faced every single shutdown corner in the league so far.
Yeah.
But what happens when Davante Adams is there?
Then all of a sudden he's seeing the 2.
Yeah. The volume goes down, but oh man, those targets he gets. And you have to assume he would then start earning them over Alan Lazard.
I would hope so. But he's still earning targets though. Like it's not. That's the real frustrating thing to me as somebody who likes Garrett Wilson. Yeah. Like I think he's in like the second tier of wide receivers, but he hasn't produced as if he is in the second tier of wide receivers in any other statistic except for targets. Yeah. And he earned them both of his first 2 years.
He had the most ever in the first 2 years of a career.
Yeah. And so like that's the canary in the coal mine. That's telling you that he is a good player. If you subscribe to Peter Howard and a whole bunch of other smart people, much smarter than I am, they'll tell you that targets are earned by talent by and large. There's the Calvin Benjamin paradox, but like
when there's no one else and you're just really tall.
It's well, and it may just be a Panthers thing because I think Funchess did the same thing.
Well,
like
it was the well, he was like a more athletic clone.
Yeah,
like he was still just really, really tall and really, really long arms, and like it was my favorite joke that I remember back in the Eli Manning days, where I made a joke that they should sign Plaxico Burress because Eli Manning throws 4 feet over everybody. And you can't throw 4 feet over Plaxico Burress, and then they went and signed him.
Nope.
Like that's what it was. It's not that I mean. Cam Newton wasn't overthrowing people like that, but still, like, if they can't get a player who can get open, you might as well just have someone taller than everyone else. And it worked for both Benjamin and Funchess for a while.
Yeah, but again, that was you have a mediocre receiver in a wide receiving core that didn't have anybody else around. It's the the tree standing in the middle of the field.
Literally at this point,
but Garrett Wilson right now is he's top 12 in targets after 4 weeks, and everybody is saying the sky is falling, and he's still 11 in targets.
I mean, I get it though, because we were sitting here saying once he finally gets a quarterback, and now I'm really just hoping that. Though I did not look this up, so I can't really speak to the truthfulness of it. But apparently, he earned the most yards on Surtain than anyone else has this season.
Yeah,
I mean, so it shows that he's still doing fine compared to what he's up against. But if you had to choose, where would you want Davante Adams to land? Do you have any place where you're just like, ooh? Do you have any dynasty shares of him?
I don't. I have 0 Davante Adams.
I have so many. Like at this point, I think I just care more about who his quarterback is than what team he lands on, because like we've seen now that even though he's the only person, he's not the only person to throw to because Brock Bowers is there, but like Gardner Minshew ain't doing it this year like he was for Michael Pittman last year. Something happened in Indianapolis that is not in the water in Las Vegas. Maybe he's just having too much fun in between games or something. I'm not sure.
But yeah, I don't know where I would. I mean, I guess to me, the Jets is probably the most fun, even though I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers stan, but like he's going to come in, he's going to get targets. That frees up Garrett Wilson. It's not very creative. Like, hey, Aaron Rodgers gets to play with all his buddies, and like that's been the theme the last 2 years is he's trying to get everybody. Get the band back together, but
getting the band back together. Manders, maybe. I would love that for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, he could use another solid threat on the outside.
Yeah, because they don't. Well, I mean, his connection with Terry McLaurin started to kick up a little bit this past week, but they don't really have
anything else. Like
De'Ami Brown, it looked like might actually be a thing. Like during the preseason, and then like week 2, he had a really good week. I'm just like, yes, let's go. That would be nice. Yeah. Oh, so I'm in the DLF mock drafts for the one quarterback ones have started. You want to guess who went 101?
One quarterback 101. Who?
Malik Neighbors.
We're here already.
I was in the second round, and I'm like, wait, is Malik Neighbors not gone yet? So NAB. Wait, he's not there. Where is he? Because I'm like, wait, there's Jefferson. I got Chase at 5, so I'm looking below me, and I'm like, how about that?
Was Trevor Lawrence still available in the second?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I figured.
Well, one quarterback.
No, I know.
Yeah, but it's wow. Like, and it's really funny because 2 weeks ago, and the joke that Zach was making, I had a trade sitting in my inbox where it was Malik Neighbors and a second for my Trevor Lawrence and a first. And I'm going back and forth. I'm like, man, maybe Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be good. I don't know, man. What do I do? Do I do this? Is Malik Neighbors good? And then I asked the question that was really the one eating me on Neighbors was next year when the Giants no doubtedly bring in another pass catcher who is worthwhile, will Neighbors still be this good? Or is it just because he's getting 18 targets a game? And Zach just goes to me, he's that good. I'm like, okay, accept. Yeah. and like, I'm not ready. I'm ready to be in on Malik Neighbors. I'm ready to put Malik Neighbors maybe at like literally the first person in the second tier of wide receivers, but man, I can't put him with Jefferson and Chase and Lamb and ARSB yet.
So this is the fun part for me about doing all of the rookie work is I can get in on Neighbors in rookie drafts and not have to do this, right? Because you could get him as the 104, 105. Okay. Yeah. So acquiring a 104 or 105 is a lot easier than trading for Malik Neighbors now after 4 weeks of the season. And to me, and the difference between like doing that with like let's air grammar the normal player and doing it with somebody like Jefferson, like Neighbors, like AJ Brown is because I have like done all of my rookie work and I have my historical rookie work. I can see where I think they fall within all of the receivers that I've charted, and so I've been doing that since 2017, like consistently with the same process. And so I can sit there and tell you that I had Malik Neighbors as a top, I think he was 7 maybe overall out of all of the receivers that I've charted since 2017. And so to me, that is in a little bit more rarefied air than, and it again, it varies class by class because sometimes I'll have classes that don't have anybody that get up in there. I mean, the class that was Burks and even Garrett Wilson, like, because I had Burks over Wilson, over, I think it was Pickens and then London and then Olave. But like that class did not have to me the upper echelon player. And that's not to say that there won't be players who become great. But for me, there are some players that's just really like it's easy to see. Justin Jefferson was that way. Like I watched Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Jefferson were in the same class. They're the top 2 that I've ever graded. And so to me, Neighbors is in that ilk. He's a special player. And look, so is Marvin Harrison. Yeah, like a different style of player, but still fantastic. And so it's, to me, and there's another, I can fold this in because I see Brain Burst down there has a question that says, I know you loved Worthy pre-draft. How are you feeling about him now? Very similar. But Worthy wasn't in that, like there was a pretty sizable gap between the top 2 and then Worthy, but Worthy was my 3rd. And then Brian Thomas and then Odunze, but they were all kind of in the same range. I think Worthy you probably have to wait a little bit longer to see the big time consistent returns, because what he gives Andy Reid's offense right now is the ability to get over the top. I think his role grows eventually, and you're going to see more targets. And
I'm hoping now that Rice is out.
It may be like he saw 4 targets, and he's been seeing pretty consistent 3-4 targets a week. And you know, he got a ball over the top and you know had and scored a touchdown. Like that's nice. Like I like that. I'm not going to tell you that I don't like that, but I see eventually a little bit bigger role than just a field stretcher for
Yes.
Worthy. And so, right now, all of the interior passing, all of those crossers, all of those slants had been Rashi Rice, and
Yeah.
he's been great with it. And you can't do quite the same thing with Worthy that you can do with Rice, because you can do like the AJ Brown thing with Rice, where
Rice
you
seems to be a lot more. If he runs a slant, he comes in like
yeah
he finds a hole in his zone and sits. But
yeah
you want Worthy to be more OBJ-esque.
yeah exactly, to run through with that slant and keep
Yeah.
going, use that 4.2 speed and go. But I think there's more on the bone there, and I still I really like him as a player and a prospect. And being tied to Patrick Mahomes is not a bad thing either.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't know if this is a weird thing to say, but I think I played Dynasty a little too well that I didn't get any Malik Neighbors shares naturally in drafts, because I either had the 101 or 102 or I made the playoffs, in which case I missed that middle. And then the other problem was I was enamored with Worthy and Brian Thomas Jr. And Neighbors was just like, yeah, Neighbors is good, but I think it's going to be, if I have the 1-9, do I just take Worthy, or do I spend up what it's going to take to get Neighbors, where everyone likes Malik Neighbors? So while yes, it's cheaper to trade up from the 109 to the 104 than it is to then later buy Malik Neighbors, especially after the season started. But at the time, it's just like, but I like this guy. But not only that, I like the guy after him.
Yep.
So I drafted 0 Malik Neighbors, but I ended up with 2 shares.
The real answer ended up being trade to the 105 and then take whoever fell between Neighbors and Bowers.
Yes.
And profit.
I didn't do any of
it
that.
It is.
So the one time I did take Bowers over Odunze, so I feel good about that one.
It is almost like it almost never happens that I will advocate drafting a tight end in the first round. And Bowers was that guy.
Yeah, you did. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yep. I advocated drafting Pitts in the first round because you could trade him, which is totally different. But
that is killing me. I was so in on Kyle Pitts this year.
The year's not over. It could happen. We got Angel with us,
No, the dirty. It's and I know, and I mean, I didn't watch much of the Falcons game this week, but even like as late as last week, late being week 3, like Cousins looked like he was still getting his feet under him, literally and metaphorically, and it's looking good for Drake London. Drake London, he had 2 games. Week 1 was but then he had 2 games in a row with a touchdown, and then he went like 6 for 60 this past week. So like he's part of that offense. He is that offense. He's even when I think Cousins threw for less than 200 yards. London still had a third of them, but like Pitts with 0, like he's better than that. Like something has to happen.
Yeah, but it's we've talked about this before, but that like the tight ends who don't actually play tight end, it's a tough position because you're essentially playing them like a wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
So what do you have? Like, you've really got to kind of scheme them. And
yeah, but who's the wide receiver 2 in Atlanta? Darnell Mooney?
No, and I'm not saying that like Mooney is taking, but like,
but he
just
is. He's getting a lot of targets. He seems like he's getting some targets. Well, he is, but like more than he should.
Yeah, he had a week a couple weeks ago. But it's just a funky, like, it's not bad to be a pass catcher as a tight end. Yeah, that's true. I buy that. I wouldn't. I could hold a clipboard though. I'm really good at that.
My wrist gets so tired after a while that I need to like do like on the arm, and then that's not what you want your clipboard holder to do.
Well, see, that was the bullpen. We did a lot of pitch charting and
Yeah.
things. So I could be a backup, maybe like a second string, because I don't want the pressure of actually having to go in.
See, I have an old mini golf injury from holding those tiny pencils. My hand would cramp up. I just can't do it.
Uh,
It's just not what I am anymore.
uh,
Oh man, and I had something else that I was going to start talking about, and then I started laughing in my head about that mini golf joke, and now I completely lost whatever it was. Oh, because we're talking about the Falcons. Can we talk about Raheem? I almost said Raheem Mostert. Raheem Morris coming out and saying how good Tyler Algier is, and how he's a part of the offense, whether we like it or not, more or less. Like,
I don't want to talk about that. I really thought Bijan was going to be the running back one this year, and it does not appear to be the case.
yeah, because they're using like Bijan's a big dude. He can run up the middle. You don't need Tyler Algier to do it.
Yeah.
But also that they're making themselves predictable, which is stupid because Algier's out there, run up the middle. Bijan's out there, out to the side. Like it's
But it's the NFL is really good at doing the dumb safe thing and just repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. It's why Denver drafted 9 6'5" quarterbacks in a row that were all terrible. Like you can make that mistake and be safe. And it was, we talked a little bit about this with the Scott Fishbowl with the drafts, where I think you have to come out of your comfort zone. You can, and especially if you're in a draft with analysts, like you'll see this a lot where guys really, and girls, like everybody kind of is hesitant to make a leap, make a stand that is against consensus. And the NFL does this. I mean, you talk about them being a copycat league. They are, but they also know what will get them fired and what will keep them around for another 2 years. And having a thunder and lightning backfield, that'll keep you around. It's not going to win, like it's not going to get you to where you need to be, but that'll keep you around.
In a normal PPR league, Bijan Robinson is per game running back 23 with 14.2.
Oh. Luckily, I took him with my first pick in the Scott Fishbowl.
Luckily, I traded Justin Jefferson for Bijan Robinson and DJ Moore.
Oh yeah, that was a good trade. Who'd you trade that with?
To be fair, I still won last year. That's all that really matters.
You did.
Not going to win this year, though.
No, the DJ Moore thing is interesting too,
in general.
But that means that Jackson Smith and Jigba is actually a good player.
Yes.
I think that's how that works, right? Because the offense translated from Seattle to Chicago. Now DJ Moore is and JSN with a new offense is good.
It's doing pretty good. I love it. I'm loving it. Just as the season goes on, it's going to be more and more, and I'm all in on it. I have many
JSN shares. He is an absolute target monster right now. We talked about him being a buy at the beginning of the season. Peter Howard was not in fully on JSN.
I was getting my hopes up so high about JSN.
Yeah, I mean the math said that it was a bad first season, and the math is right, but he's still a good player.
Right, but the math can't take into account that even if he's the wide receiver 3 on a team, they now hired a guy whose base set is 3 wide receivers.
Right.
So maybe he wasn't getting on the field year 1. He's on the field for year 2. But like also remember when like 600 yards was our benchmark for a good season for a wide receiver, and now 700 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns is a bad year.
Yeah.
It is also just unfair that they're getting too good. Like remember, like we used to wait till year 3. Like Devontae Adams was historically bad his first 2 years.
Yeah.
And now he's Devontae Adams.
Oh, I was mad. Like in the very like it was the second year of my home league, and Kyle made a trade where he traded Devontae Adams to get like the 105 or the 106. And like I was mad that he took advantage of the guy who was new in the league, and as it turned out, I mean, it worked out okay for JP, but it took a minute.
Do either of you have a fantasy rival, someone you have to defeat for pride? I have two.
Oh yeah, is it me?
No, because you beat me. That's fine. That's it's one of the reasons I like you. You keep me grounded. Um, I didn't think that just came out. I did not prepare to say that. Um, Brian, Emin, Effin, Har,
The news.
and this dude Steve K. He's in a bunch of my leagues.
He's
Both
good.
of these men have beat me in the finals by less than 1 point.
Seeing this, for me, it's not even really a rivalry, because in order to have it be a rivalry, you have to be competitive. But every single league that I'm in with J Mike, I
He's so
lose to him. He's so good.
But
He's
I
so
won
good.
in I won Olympians.
You
Even
did.
though he's going to win, he's won 2 years in a row in TA6, and he's won 6. He's going to win the next 16 also. I'm in a
I,
league, and I won the year before. The year that led to the J Mike Invitational in TA6 is the one Trade Addicts league I ever won.
I had 1 year. I think it was 3 years ago, where I finished second, and I was only in 6 leagues. I finished second in 4 leagues, and 3 of those second place finishes were to J Mike.
Well, you
And
want to be upset, but it's J Mike.
and that was the year that the Patriots played the Bills during fantasy football championship week. And all 4 of those leagues that I finished second, I lost on the last drive, because they had some combination of Josh Allen and Diggs. And so it ended up being uh I wasn't sure. They started the drive with about 30 seconds left in the third quarter, and I was like, "Oh, this could be okay. Maybe the first team offense will not come out for the fourth quarter," because they were just stomping the Patriots. And they did. They came back out for one last drive, and it was like Allen to Diggs, Allen to Diggs, Allen to Diggs. And then Diggs hit a crosser in the back of the end zone, and Allen just freaking slung it right in there, and that was it.
See, what's really funny is when I lost to Har in the TA2 championship was because they pulled Allen one drive earlier. I lost by less than a point. I needed one more drive, 2 completions. I probably would have won, but they were winning and they pulled them.
I wish we could take those completions from that year,
And just
hook you up.
push
Yeah,
them
we'll
back
just
a few
swap them.
years. Yeah. I traded back from the 102 pre-draft because I valued JSN and Gibbs the same.
I mean, I think eventually you're going to be happy-ish. Take like I assume you got JSN, but Gibbs has been great. Like
I love some Gibbs.
Can't say Gibbs hasn't been great, but I do think that Jackson Smith and Jigba, by probably not this time next year, but pretty close, is going to be a top 12 wide receiver dynasty wise. People are going to be like, "Oh yeah, we remember Jackson Smith and Jigba. Here he is." Like he's currently if he's not top 12 in targets, he's like 13.
Yeah.
Like already this season. And I know DK Metcalf has been great, but I think people are going to realize how good JSN is, how good he's been so far. And
Ooh.
what's that?
Well, it's oh wow, look at this. I pulled up his stats. His targets per game 2, 16, 3, 12.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Yeah. But it's going like there's going to be a period where they realize that he's good. And he is. And when that
He's a
happens,
really good end of season schedule.
and that when that happens, the fantasy community is going to remember that he is good. Like this is the guy who was stealing targets from Garrett Wilson, Olave, like even Marvin Harrison at the beginning of Marvin Harrison's like this is the guy who was that good. And I still think he's that guy. I mean, he's a slot receiver for sure, but man, that's a fun position to me in fantasy. Yeah. That's a slot receiver is kind of the money ball receiver for me.
That's all about them receptions, baby.
Yeah, that's how I think about it. You know, the Billy Bean was all about guys who get on base. You know, the OPS, and to me, it's guys who catch the ball. And the more targets you generate, and the more receptions you have, the better off we are.
Yep. Still remember Matt Harmon fawning over Tay early on. That, I mean, I wasn't paying attention to fantasy analysts back in 2014. He was a 2014 wide receiver, right? Davante Adams. Yeah. Like I wasn't paying attention, but I could absolutely imagine Matt Harmon fawning over someone whose footwork like Davante Adams.
Oh yeah, well he was Allen Robinson was the first one that I remember that it was just like Allen Robinson, Lockett, like those are the guys that I
But also Allen Robinson was after year one was when he really started going hard after Allen Robinson because Allen Robinson is good and he's like no he's better than like he's going to keep doing better. Mr. Lubufu, I lost because of DK Metcalf catch or the touchdown scored against Miami or Aubrey Smith's field goal. Dude, it sounds like you lost because of someone sneezing and like kneel downs with you saying that you lost by so little.
Oh, that's rough.
A brilliant show would be us discussing our rivalries. Well, Brian was the guest on Trade Addicts last night, and oh man, I should probably, I'm not going to stay up after this to edit it, but tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, and it'll be out sometime tomorrow. He will bring it up every single time we talk. And don't get me wrong, if it were the other way around, I would do the same, so I get it. So we absolutely do. We don't care that you're late, you two. We're just happy that you're here. So thanks for showing up, because we're still here. Like Peter Howard always tells us, got to learn to follow the vacated targets.
Peter Howard, Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, no, the opposites. Yeah, targets are earned. So you don't just get targets. I think it was you that did the elevator versus escalator, right? Was that your? Yep. You talk about it then because it's brilliant.
I don't know if it's brilliant, but it's the way I kind of visualize things because the position, first of all, as a running back, you only have another running back in front of you. You've got one running back most of the time on the field, unless you've got like Juszczyk or Ricard. But so if something happens to the player in front of you, that second running back comes in. It's like the elevator. You're going from the bottom floor to the top floor. You just press that button. You're there. You're getting the majority of the work, majority of the carries. But receiver, because you have multiple receivers in your offensive sets, if your wide receiver one goes down, the player that replaces him doesn't necessarily replace the targets. Those targets don't just magically go to whoever the player is that fills that position. And the player who fills in may not actually even fill in that position one for one. So because targets are earned, generally the better players end up with more targets. And so it's a lot more rare for a player to come in off the bench and be the guy replacing the guy. So that's the elevator. You're kind of the escalator, where you're kind of behind the people in front of you, and you're working your way up, but you're not there yet. You haven't reached the destination.
Yeah, it's like why we don't talk about handcuffs with wide receivers.
Right. Exactly.
Hard-hitting questions here from Scampers. Favorite protein/veggies for an ideal stir fry, and don't just say yes.
I mean, the answer is yes. Although, if I am going to stir fry vegetables, I like like something green. I like broccoli.
Yes.
I love Brussels sprouts, but I'm not sure that stir fry is quite the best. Well, so I don't think it's quite the best method. I think I want to get them caramelized before I add other things. And then if I'm going to protein, I mean, it really doesn't matter to me. I like to go with chicken thigh, because
I'm a dark meat kind of guy.
Yeah, so it's you've got a lot more moisture in there. You got a lot more flavor, because fat's where the flavor is, and there's more fat there. I've been doing recently have been buying, and it frustrates me that I can't get boneless skin on chicken thighs. I can get boneless thighs, or I can get skin on with a bone. But I've been buying the skin on with a bone, and then deboning them, and then like frying the skin side crispy, and then doing like, I feel like we've gone into it's fantasy cocina now. We're doing the cooking show.
Yes.
But I've been doing the like salt, pepper, white pepper. If you don't have white pepper in your kitchen for chicken, you need to do that. You need to, and a little goes a long way. But then like garlic powder, onion powder. I like ground fennel too, just a little bit of that.
Fennel's good. I love me some fennel.
And then oregano. And if you get those, like, and see, Tim knows with the white pepper, like if you do that, man, that's really good. And so I'll crisp the skin, put it in the oven, continued skin side down, and then like do that for like 10 more minutes, and then flip it for about 5. So you kind of lock in all of those spices that you put on the top. Oh, and then I can cut that up, put it in a stir fry, or I've been doing noodles and broth and the crispy chicken skin, and that is where it's at.
Yeah, like my base peppers, onions, broccoli in every stir fry is always peppers, onions, broccoli. I'll throw in some bean sprouts every once in a while when I want to feel fancy, because I do like the greens. I like the crunch, and I do like Brussels sprouts. And it's really funny. I learned that, in like old sitcoms, everyone used to be like, "Oh, Brussels sprouts, gross." They actually, in the 80s, genetically modified Brussels sprouts to taste better. Like, that's why they used to be gross and now they're not, because they literally changed them.
Huh.
I mean, that's not crazy, because that's everything that we do.
That's what we do, yeah.
But like, that's really like what it is. Brussels sprouts baked with anything with it's really funny. Like I remember watching I can't remember what cooking show, but like Bobby Flay was on it, and someone was making a steak and just lops like half a stick of butter and drops it on top, and he's like, "You can't give away our secrets. That's why steaks in restaurants taste so good, because that's what we do." Like anything with butter is absolutely fantastic, but then Tim comes in and says sprouts,
bacon grease. I don't even need all that. Like I love it. I'm not going to turn that down. But like for me, like Brussels sprouts, olive oil. You have the Brussels sprouts. You put them face down in the olive oil, and then salt and pepper, and then I'll put the cover on. I've got a pan that's got a cup. You just let them like you caramelize on the bottom and steam on the top, and like let's go,
Craig. Nature finds a way, Craig. Nature finds
spare no expense.
anything but shrooms. Actually, I've grown to like mushrooms lately, and they do fit in pretty well with stir fry. And then Scampers comes in and saying, shrimp, carrots, mushrooms, jalapenos.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's really weird. Like when you think like shrimp isn't what comes to my mind with stir fry, though shrimp is delicious. Like I think of more of like shrimp lo mein, which is just a different noodle dish, but like absolutely, yeah. Like that sounds like it was wonderful.
I gotta be honest. I went to a mall today for the first time. Like there aren't like malls are gone. Like there aren't malls in Maine. There's the Portland Mall, and that's it. I went to the Portland Mall today because I need to get a suit, and I didn't find what I was looking for. But that's beside the point. But I walked past Sarku, Japan. It's a restaurant, and I was almost pulled in by the stir fry shrimp. Like it was a very near thing. It was all my willpower to like continue walking until I found the orange chicken, and then I got sucked into that.
Well, you and orange, I'd be able to walk right past that. That's not my jam. Open 24 hours. Made a trade just now. Oh, I'm jealous. 10 team, start 10, super flex, tight end premium. Ooh, 0.25 points per carry. Rashad White and Jacoby Myers, or Travis Kelce and Aaron Jones.
Kelce and Jones, like.
Well, yeah. What happens if Devontae Adams does leave? I don't like Rashad White. I never did, and he's not getting he rode his volume last year, but Bucky Irving is clearly better than he is. Aaron Jones is still getting the volume. He's still getting receptions, and Travis Kelce is going to give you that premium, and we're happy for the targets Myers will get if Devontae leaves, but also now with Rashee Rice out, Travis Kelce is going to get those targets. Look, I don't hate either side of this, but I think I prefer Kelce and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and I think that the issue we get caught up in with Dynasty is we see that Dynasty and we're thinking long term always.
Yeah, with these kind of players, no. Like these kind of players, it feels like 1 year.
Like Rashad White could be a couple more years. Like,
yeah,
maybe
running back, and I only
really not
running backs in most 2-year windows.
Yeah, and Jacoby Myers is young enough that like, he could be. He's certainly got more left than you're probably getting more years out of White and Myers than you are out of Kelce and Aaron Jones.
You absolutely are.
But I would I don't care about those years because I think the points that you're getting this year out of those two, especially if you're competitive, that's where I'd go. Every time I see open 24 hours, in the back of my head, there's the Stephen Wright joke. Not in a row. He's the Joker. He pulls up in front of a 7-Eleven and his buddy is locking up. He's like, "What are you doing? I thought you were open 24 hours." Says, "Yeah, but not in a row."
And it looks like we chose the right side. He got the Kelce side. He has Andrews and Hawk. Kelce will be in a lineup every week. Yes, he will. And I'm so ready. I think I saw someone say week 7 they expect Hawk to come back.
I hope so.
I'm ready. That feels early. So he probably might not be Hawk when he comes back, but I'm ready with Darnold having that MVP season already. And how good did Jordan Addison look this week?
Yeah. On my bench.
I started him in 1 or 2 spots, but he was on 1 or 2 of my benches as well. But it's nice to see him on the field and not off the field being an idiot.
That is very valid.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Stephen Wright rules. Yes, he does. Do we have anything else that we didn't talk about fantasy cares wise? Oh, well, I mean, the other shirt, just besides the one that Zach, that's your name, the one that Zach is wearing, Friends Don't Let Friends Play in week 18, still hurts my brain that it's not week 17. What do you you look like Peter Howard off camera right now. It looked like
I had dropped my my earbuds and I was taking while you had the screen taken up, I was taking the opportunity to pick them up, put the earbud back in so it would charge, but you caught me. Yeah, I'm not I don't know what to do with my hands.
And what I always like in 30 Rock, when Jack Donaghy was going to be in a sketch, he's like, "Can I have 2 coffee mugs to hold?" I always found that so funny, where he wanted to hold 2 coffee mugs to keep his hands busy. Whoa, my monitor just went black. Where did everybody go?
I'm still here. You look
good. I'm not going to move now because I'm afraid to screw it up again. And I just want to remind everyone, fantasycares.org/NBCF, National Breast Cancer Foundation. We are matching up to $5,000 through the month of October. Donate at fantasycares.org/NBCF, and we will be matching up to $5,000, and it will be donated to the National Breast Cancer Foundation at the end of the month. I clicked away while that thing was still there. I forget that I have to click again to make it go away. Oh wow! That's cool. I saw Stephen Wright live in the '90s. He had a lighting guy point two spotlights at him, pretended a car was running.
I liked. I saw him and he did the joke where he has the microphone on the cable.
Yeah,
and he drags it across the ground and then picks it up, and so it goes, and he goes, gutter. And he's like, that joke took me 2 years to write. I couldn't figure out how to word it. It was like, he's fantastic.
Ooh. Holding on to Brooks in SFB or move on? Oh, hold on. Look what Chuba Hubbard's doing.
Yeah. Yep.
Jonathan Brooks is better than Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, that's a big hold there. That's literally why you drafted him in Scott Fish Bowl.
We knew he wasn't going to be back anytime soon.
Yeah, he's one of those players where you draft and you're like, I mean, it's kind of like Hawkinson. Like if you drafted Hawkinson in Scott Fish Bowl, like you were hoping for the week 10 plus push into the playoffs. Like that's what you're doing. Same thing with Brooks. Like you're not necessarily worried about him right now. But man, if he becomes a thing, you have more firepower in your starting lineup than you have right now.
Yeah, exactly. I've been holding on to Keaton Mitchell. Yep. So it seems like that might not be necessary because Derrick Henry can carry every single ball. That's all that really matters. What about Kendre?
Man, I don't know.
I was never a Kendre believer in the first place, but
he was my hippo write-up. You don't remember that one where he was? I compared him to a hippo because he didn't look like he was very good, but all of a sudden he could be fast over short spaces.
22 miles an hour hippos can run.
That's the one.
Well, I just know that off the top of my head because the hippos are my favorite animal.
But yeah, but it seems like, so here's the problem with running backs. If your coach, who is in charge of playing time, doesn't care for your running style or something about you, it doesn't matter if you could fill in for Kamara or not. If you're not going to get that work, then and that's how it seemed all preseason. Like it was just like, okay, we're going to see Kendre Miller. No, we're not. I think I would rather have Jamal Williams in that backfield than I would Kendre Miller by quite a bit.
Yeah, he's not doing much right now.
Ooh.
In SFB, I have Brooks, CMC, Kupp, Mostert, and Njoku. You'll feel great in like 4 weeks.
Yeah, congratulations. You won last year.
Yeah. And somehow got a Devi player.
That must have been the SFB 13 wrinkle.
Dinner cooked by Zach.
I got you. Last week I did a bunch of different bowls, which was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I cooked last week. I'm gonna have to my daughter my daughter doesn't eat a lot of foods in general, but she actually likes the meatballs I make. Nice. So I make those at least once a week. So I know that's on the table that I have to make. But we've been lazy the past week and a half. We've ordered somehow we're not on first name basis with the pizza delivery guy, but we should be.
That's like last week when they asked the pizza in Boston. I was like, it was Pinocchio's because I come in and they knew my order.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your order.
Dun, dun, dun.
I remember the first time that ever happened to me. It was a sandwich shop near near my first desk job. And I walked in and we had to wear ties to work. I was 22 making like $8 a year, and they made us wear a tie. So I'm like, you know what? If I have to wear a tie, I'm going to wear some really stupid ties. So I had like rubber duckies, Bugs Bunny, and like the stupidest thing. And then, but the problem with that is when you go to a place a bunch of times wearing stupid ties, it gets you like, you'll get remembered. And I'm not very creative. Like usually when I find something I like, I stick with it. So like, and then I walk in one day, they're like, "Hey, Thai guy, Italian sandwich." I'm just like, yes,
Oh,
but the
no.
problem with that is like, because then it's like when I walk in and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna get this," I'm like, but maybe I did want something else. Do I want something? Like it gets me doubting myself and like, no, I'm just gonna get the same thing I always get. But now that I can't because I walk in and they're like starting to make what I want already, which is amazingly endearing, but it's like, but what if I felt like ham and cheese today?
Now you can subvert that with the mobile order, but at that point you couldn't do
Oh
that. But
yeah, no,
you could
back
just
in
yeah,
07, that wasn't
yeah.
really going on.
No.
Wow, that was 17 years ago.
That doesn't seem possible. I
Bro.
told you I played in my college alumni baseball game, and I was the oldest guy there by like 20 years, and I like,
Hey. It was 12. You
yeah,
said you graduated. I'm gonna age you out here. You
yeah,
graduated in 04, and you said the next guy was 2016. I
yeah,
think you said.
yeah, yeah. They were getting ready to do the starting lineup, and they were like, "Well, we'll just go, in reverse order by class." And I'm like, "Well, I'm leading off then." Like, nice to see you put the speed at the
You know what?
top
You
of
know
the
what? We're gonna
lineup.
go reverse order by first name. Guess I'm going first then.
Yeah. Like, in the unlikely event I get on base, somebody is going to need to pinch run for me because I don't do that at this point in my existence.
You just be like the snail from Monsters University. School's over, bud. Oh. I don't know. Is there anything else to talk about?
I don't have anything.
No, it's 11 o'clock. I'm ready for bed. Thank you, everybody, for coming along and hanging out with us on this Wednesday afternoon. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to our channel. Hit the bell so you get a notification every time we go live. Though for this, it will be Wednesday at 9:30 every single week. So we hope to see you here next week. Don't forget fantasycares.org/NBCF. And don't forget fantasycares.org/stickers, because we like some stickers. Oh, fantasycares.org/GG. Our goodness giveaway for the week is a Najee Harris jersey.
Ooh.
And while I hate the Steelers, I love the black and yellow. Though, I mean, Batman, black and yellow, Hufflepuff, black and yellow. I feel like I should be a Steelers fan. I just hate the Steelers.
Bruins?
I grew up a Bruins fan, actually. Adam Oates, Ray Bork was my favorite player. Cam Neely.
Nice.
Because he was just a gigantic man playing offense when he should have been playing defense. And then he was Seabass in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Kick his ass, Seabass. Is that... Why am I... Okay, that's Cam Neely in a movie. Sure, why not? Because they were big hockey fans. The Farrelly brothers. But yeah, so black and yellow is my thing, but I hate the Steelers. But fantasycares.org/GG. You can go every $5 you donate is another entry to win that jersey, which we'll be giving away on the wrap-up show this coming Tuesday.
Nice.
G Harris. You can always count on John. Always count on John. What's the deal with Kansas City running backs? I can't do that. But
Neither can Kansas City.
Neither can Kansas City. Kareem Hunt when it has to be. All right. But thank you, everyone, for joining along and hanging out with us on this Wednesday afternoon. We will see you next Wednesday afternoon.